Vancouver, hello world. This presentation is from the Africa Center of Excellence for Innovative and Transformative STEM Education, which is a World Bank funded outfit. The lead for this session, Fred Awa of the University of Professional Studies, is in the waiting room. So rather than keep the presentation dangling, I've decided to take on the presentation on his behalf. Peter Okebukola, Mariyam, Abdulladi, Adekunle, Ibrahim Oladejo is here, Oluwatosin Agbanimu also here. Now, the problem that we want to solve here is that in Nigeria, and indeed in most African countries, our students are not doing too well in computer studies, especially some elements of or some concepts in computer studies. And we found that regardless of the methodologies that we've been using, the achievement gains have not been perceptible. So the decision was taken, let's probe why that is so, and let's see an intervention that can help us to improve. So we began by looking at the topics in the computer science curriculum that, because we cannot say that all the topics in the computer science curriculum are difficult to learn by students. So we did a survey in West Africa, and we found that yes, there are some topics that students will rank ordered the topics, and then we decided to target the topics, the top 5 that students find difficulty with. And then we noticed that if we embed our intervention into the socio-cultural settings of the students and the contextual settings, that this could, we hypothesize that could lead to them getting a better hang of the topics and then performing well in it. So we tested an approach. It's called the cultural techno-contextual approach in determining whether the students will do better or not in a topic that we picked, which is spreadsheets. So we had 2 research questions, as you can see here. One made research question, whether there be statistically significant difference in the achievement of students taught using CTCA on spreadsheet. Now, the cultural techno-contextual approach has 3 strands. It's an amalgam of 3 frameworks. You have the technology, you have the culture, and you have the context. And is the philosophical framework is what you can see here. We have Nkrumah's ethnophilosophy, Heidegger's technophilosophy, and Okebukola's eco-techno-cultural theory, and all of these weaved into one. We then decided to look at the cultural aspect of our life in Africa that can relate to spreadsheets. And we have this one, it's called Babalajo. Babalajo is someone who is somebody that you don't take your money to the bank, you give your money to Babalajo, who will record the kind of spreadsheet, some nice rows, and he doesn't make an error in entering the money that you contribute, and he comes back, you get a card, and you come back for proper documentation. The other indigenous practice that we found that could relate to spreadsheets that will enable our students to be more conversant with the concept is the Suwe game. Now, a Suwe game is a communal game, that will bring children of the same age together, and a participant will start at one end of it here, this cell, and then we throw the pebbles and then move on like that. We had as test instrument a spreadsheet achievement test. We established validity, good reliability, and we had an experimental group with 30 students and 35 students from another school, so 65 in total. If you can see, there's a quasi-experimental design, you had a control group, experimental group, pre-tested, the two of them, a lecture method. That's the one the teacher will normally deploy. The control group, and then the experimental group had CTC as treatment. We post-tested them, we interviewed them. And you see, we found that if you did not conduct a retention test, you finished intervention. Our research group in Africa found that if you finish intervention and you did a post test, chances are very high that the one group will do better than the other. But if you wait about 2-3 months down the road to do a retention test, that's where you can beat your chest and say, oh yes, the intervention had been good or it's not so good. So we did a retention test and then had the treatment thereafter. Now, what's the procedure for this cultural techno-contextual approach? It begins with some pre-lesson assignment on indigenous practices, and you ask your students to speak with their parents, significant others, look at indigenous practices relating to the concept of a thought, and you go check necessary resources for that. When the lesson begins, the students are grouped and they given assignment relating to step 1. That is, okay, fine, we've asked you to go speak with the parents and with all your friends and all that. So what are the indigenous practices that relate to the topic? So you have them report in step 2. In step 3, the lesson progresses and examples are given for the immediate environment. That's the context part of this CTCA. And then the students are reminded of the cultural practices and the web-based resources that they get as a techno part of it. And if there's any misconception, the teacher clears it. So at the end of the lesson, this is another exciting part of it. The teacher for the first lesson will summarize the lesson by way of some short notes, 2 pages of like an SMS, and send to the student. But thereafter, the students in the class will take turns in sending the summaries to themselves. That's the 5. So these are some images from the field. That's the lead researcher here. That's Abdulladi and Mariyam, teaching the experimental group, and group discussion here, and the rest that you can see on the screen. So this is some notes that were sent to the students, the WhatsApp group, the image of the experimenter, the image of the WhatsApp message sent to the WhatsApp group. So this is the other class on the right, the Nigerian French language students. So what did we find? We found that we actually used 9th grade, that's junior secondary class 3 students. 12 male, 18 in the CTCA group, and the lecture group, that's the control, 1124, and Livingston show what you can find there. Then we found that at the end of the treatment, our post-test, let's see, yes, CTCA performed that. If you look at the analysis of covariance, we did that because we couldn't randomly assign students into experimental and control groups. You can see the variance associated with method gives an F of that. Gender, we didn't find any gender difference. Also, gender method interaction did not come out to be significant. So the hypothesis that we posed, those statistically significant difference, we found statistically significant difference, making us to reject the null hypothesis. This because we had it as experimental and qualitative mixed methods. So the students gave the following: I love the answers my parent, that's Aziz Teniola. I love the answers my parent gave me on the indigenous knowledge, maybe to be prepared to learn spreadsheet. The YouTube videos that I watched, I learned how to create charts and all that. I understand the topic spreadsheet easily when taught. Now we found that in discussing these results, we found that the triple action of the cultural, that's the indigenous knowledge that the students were immersed in while delivering the topic is one that helped to bolster or to hike the interest of the students and their attention in class, and we hypothesize that to help in improving the achievement. Also, with technology, because they had to go to YouTube or to the web to get resources to support their learning, and then the context. Context here means within the context of the school. What are the examples that the students looking outside the classroom window, what they can find? So relating this thing to their everyday life in school and at home. So this is a summary of what we have. The experimental group students did better. Some studies agree largely with our findings here for computer studies. And our recommendation here is that we know that our data, the number of our sample size is rather small. So we've gone ahead to continue to probe this that research question with larger samples. But for this, based on what we found, quite exciting findings at this stage that this could be an approach. The CTCA could be an approach that can be used for teaching computer science, teaching the computer science curriculum. And we need to further test the CTCA within Nigeria and other regions in Africa to establish or confirm the efficacy or otherwise. And we are also suggesting that computer studies teachers, because see, they come to class, they come to the lab, not delivering the content in an exciting way for the students, and we based on that, or as the problem that we posed earlier, that may be the reason why the students are not doing so well. So we're saying that the computer studies teachers should be trained in the use of the CTCA to enhance their instruction in computer studies. What else? We found that, yeah, that's it. So that's it from our end, and we welcome questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Yes.
Can you provide a little more information about what the students were supposed to do with the Excel spreadsheets? What were the tasks that they were supposed to do with the spreadsheet?
Yeah, the task included doing the calculations and graphically presenting the information that they have in the spreadsheet after doing the simple calculations, column wise, row wise. Maybe I can just extend my response by saying that you see the Babalajo person who comes to your house to collect the money that you are depositing with it, does almost like the same thing, does it in columns and does it in rows. So the students were related with that concept of the Babalajo and also the Suwe game, because that does addition, column, and also in rows.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, well, we can end there. And thank you for coming. And I hope you have the rest of the conference well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.